you're listening to episode 18 of the Sandler Files. Today we watched Pauly Shore is Dead and Happy Gilmore. Just a quick little content warning for this episode. One of the films we watched does touch on some themes of suicide, which is a very emotional subject, of course. So if that makes you uncomfortable in any way, completely feel free to skip this episode, and we'll catch you in the next one. Hello, everyone, and thank you for coming to the celebration of the life of Jeremy Conte. Hosted here at the fabulous Monte Carlo Inn. We got some fresh shrimp over there in the buffet section. It's on his life insurance, so dig in, people. It's all free. Jeremy passed away at 64 years of age, doing what he loved most: arson. Over his lifetime, Jeremy was known by many labels: friend, brother, moon truther. But we all knew him best as one thing: a real pain in the ass. Jeremy requested that his headstone would read his gamer tag, as it's how we all knew him best. R.I.P. Da Real Joker 1957. Anyone who would like to say a few words in remembrance of the deceased may now step up to the podium and speak their piece.
My name is Montgomery Goosen. I'm the host of Behind the Microphones. I didn't know Jeremy Conte very well, so I don't know why I was invited. In retrospect, he wasn't a great rapper. Rest in peace.
What's up, guys? Rob Schneider here. Alright, I was expecting some applause there, but, whatever. Well, I can't say this is a sad day for me. My mortal enemy has, been defeated. Probably the vaccines that took him out. You can do it. Thank you.
Hello, my name is Gunther, the golden child of the Dreesen name. Jeremy is the only one who would play Fortnite with me. That guy was cracked. We'll be dropping off the battle bus together on the next frontier, brethren.
Hey everybody. Man, tough day. Really tough day. I don't know who let Rob Schneider in here, but that guy sucks. Wow, we lost a good one. Just a really cool stand-up guy is what I've heard and what I've experienced. The ladies wanted him, the fellas wanted to be him. Just a loss for the ladies and the fellas. A loss for the world. I heard he was so epic. So I think that's how we should remember him, just as like the dopest, most epic genius dude ever. Yeah. Oh, and another thing, I underappreciated in his time, I would say. Really. And I think there's some people who will regret, not texting him back a little more. Maybe people named Lax Meeson. These people exist, but
Hey, are you talking about my cousin Lax Reeson? That Jeremy texted with all the time?
Yeah.
The way I understand it is that Wax Leeson would text him back all the time.
Look, this is not what's important.
And then it was Jeremy who didn't text back to Lax.
Look, it's not important who did and didn't text. What's important is that we mourn. We really deeply mourn for a very long time.
My mustache is falling off. That's Jeremy.
All right, guys. Wait, guys. There's no. Hey, how's it going? Welcome back to the Sandler Files. I'm alive. Don't worry, everybody.
You hurt a lot of people with your actions.
Yeah, I know.
And I think the next 30 minutes, I say we to hell with the rest of this episode, and we really delve deep on just how horrible this thing you did is. I understand it's funny because Pauly Shore did the same thing, and we've done stuff like this before, but this was a step too far. You despicable human. What do you have to say to defend yourself? You piece of garbage.
I'm sorry.
He's so brave. He's so brave.
Anyways, guys, so you might be a little confused because last week I did veto one of the films we got, and as you might have clued into by this point, that film was Pauly Shore is Dead. I vetoed it, and then Max said, "Hey, let's just watch it anyways." So I've taken my veto back. So I still have two because it didn't work. It was,
we cannot veto the wheel.
Yeah, clearly we're subject to the whims of the wheel regardless, because we ended up watching Pauly Shore is Dead and Happy Gilmore. Let's start with Pauly Shore is Dead. Let's as you might have clued in as well, as we've been going here. It's about someone who fakes their death. That's what our opening little bit was about.
That's our bit today, folks.
Yeah, we're really tired. It's late. It's like, what time is it? It's 12:50 right now.
Oh my god.
Because it took us a while to get through both movies.
Yeah.
So, yeah. Pauly Shore is Dead. So, I don't know much about Pauly Shore, personally.
I wasn't familiar with him, like, at all. Like, I knew his name. I recognized him visually. I don't think I've seen anything with him in it. Please understand, we're young little fellas. We don't watch MTV. What are we, like, 80?
I'm 64.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, look. We're not the target audience for a Pauly Shore semi-autobiographical parody film.
It was completely fake. Like, none of that happened.
No.
I mean, I guess, like, his backstory and stuff happened.
Look, from what I understand, he was, like, never considered a very good comedian. And let me tell you, this being probably one of the more interesting sounding projects in his career, I can tell you, yeah, he's not a very interesting comedian.
No,
it was
not really.
Not a very funny movie. In fact, I'd argue it wasn't funny.
What?
Look, the premise is really good, and I was actually intrigued based on it.
Yeah.
The idea is Pauly Shore, as he was in real life by the time this movie was made, which is like 2003, he's a comedian entering his washed up
He's a
phase.
has-been.
Yeah, or he's right on the cusp of that.
Right.
And it seems like the impetus for this is a failed Fox sitcom, which, based on the movie, I think was real, and I looked it up, and it seems like it was real.
I believe that, yeah.
He got a Fox sitcom as a vehicle for himself, and it was a massive failure.
They canceled it after the first episode. According to this film, I bet that's really what happened.
I wouldn't be surprised.
Yeah.
It seemed pretty rough based on the clips.
Oh, yeah.
And I can't imagine sitting down in my home and watching Pauly Shore for 30 minutes every day.
Well, he just did it for an hour and a half.
Yeah, and it was like top 5 worst experiences of my life.
Yeah, I honestly, you said it before, that might have been one of the worst films we've watched on this show yet.
It felt like a YouTube, like a Smosh skit stretched over an hour and a half. The camera quality was not very good.
It was definitely very, like, thrown together. Like, it wasn't a professional...
It looked like The Room visually, and it sounded worse audio-wise.
Yeah, there are certain shots where they just weren't mic'd up and they used cam audio, which I guess is fine with, like, a small production.
We've done it before.
Yeah, but
we
like,
have no money.
Yeah.
And we don't live in LA.
We were high school kids.
Yeah.
Pauly Shore is an MTV star who lives in LA.
Yeah, it just came across as kind of lazy, from my personal opinion. I mean, look, it didn't get studio backing, obviously, so it had to be independent. So maybe lazy isn't the right word, but it definitely came across as very amateurish and like something him and his buddies were just tinkering with for like 3 or 4 months.
But also, I understand the charm in something like that. I totally get that, right?
I think there can be charm in it.
Yeah.
I don't think this movie has charm.
It wasn't very... I mean, it was... I can appreciate how it was self-deprecating. Like,
what did I say when we were watching it? I said it seems like a vanity project, but it's just self-aware enough for me.
Well,
that I'm like, it's not quite vain.
Yeah, it's self-deprecating, but also it expects you to know exactly who Pauly Shore is.
Yeah, it's
and all the stuff he's done.
Self-obsessed. To be fair, I don't think we would have heard of this movie unless we were on this ridiculous odyssey we're on. And,
you're right, I never would have seen this.
Like, it's for Pauly Shore fans, I'm pretty sure.
Right.
Like, I think maybe we're coming at it from the wrong angle of, like, we expected a movie, and it's just, like, a fun bonus thing. Like, he sells them on his website for $5.
Yeah,
to his fans.
It was clearly just him and his friends got together and made this.
But, like...
little goof on his career because
he was fading.
He was fading, so he made a joke out of it, which...
I guess is cool.
Yeah.
It was a little, again, self-obsessed for me to think it was, like, actually, like, interesting.
Yeah.
But also, yeah, I guess we're not the target audience for it.
Yeah, I guess. I mean, like, okay.
Just don't go in expecting a movie. Well, don't watch it.
No,
I'm gonna
yeah.
be no one our age, or who is not intimately familiar with Pauly Shore should watch this movie,
Yeah, if you're a fan of Carrot Top, he's in there. There's a lot of cameos.
including Adam Sandler, which is why we watched it.
A 12-second voice cameo?
Yeah, he doesn't physically appear in the movie.
There's at one point, Pauly Shore is in prison.
He's in solitary. He's been thrown in solitary.
He hears the voice of Adam Sandler mocking him because Adam Sandler, very similar career to Pauly Shore, sort of, had successful movies while Pauly Shore's movies failed.
Yeah, because
They made a bit about
Adam
that.
Sandler didn't have one character. I mean, okay,
Right.
you could argue he does, but
We
like,
haven't seen all of Pauly Shore's movies, though.
That's true.
That's for the next podcast after this one finishes.
No.
The Pauly Files.
No.
Polygon Land.
Nice King Giz reference.
Thank you.
Look, I
Polly want a cracker. Polly with 2 crackers.
Are you done?
Yeah, sorry.
So, I didn't love it,
No, not really.
and I kind of hated it.
Yeah.
I think
The only fun stuff was like when a celebrity you recognize popped up, which of course is the whole point of why they have celebrities in there. Like Vern Troyer was there, Charlie Sheen.
it
There was
seemed
a
like
lot.
it seemed like it, like at times it seemed like it was him trying to make an artistic statement. Like I think so part of the like the kind of push of the plot is that he gets visited by this comic he knew who was a real life comic that I cannot for the life of me remember the name of right now.
That's same here. I guess bad about that, but also
I'd never heard of him. He was like a
It's
comedy
just like a
store
crazy.
legend. I looked him up. He used to be like a preacher, and then he was known as like a really loud comic.
Okay, I see. And died young like Belushi, sort of.
He died in a car accident.
I
yeah.
see.
But
Do we have to move on from this? How much time have we spent on this?
I don't know.
We got a few more minutes.
Okay. What I was gonna say is like he gets the idea. This comic tells him because he's washed up, he should die as a legend instead of living as a has-been.
Yeah.
And so he fakes his own suicide. And then like I was curious if this was like actually an artistic like statement on struggling with the downfall of fame and actually considering.
Well, there
killing
was already
himself?
a Neil Young song about this. It's better to burn out than to fade away. And then Kurt Cobain wrote that lyric on his suicide note.
Okay, I'm like
Well, I mean, like, you know, it's a very heavily discussed thing in celebrity culture where it's like, well, Elvis was around for so long. He was big, and then everyone saw him get fat and die on a toilet.
yeah, I mean I think BoJack tackles similar themes.
Yeah, of course.
And
That's
so
a big thing in celebrity culture.
I was interested to see if it would go there, and it never like if it is a legitimate metaphor for this struggle, it's a very interesting way to frame it,
think
but it doesn't seem like
It's entirely about Pauly Shore's life. It's
just
about
look,
Pauly Shore's
I can't
life.
say like I don't know, maybe he was struggling with stuff. That's I don't want to say it wasn't because it seems like a very weird thing to just do.
Sure.
Especially because in the film there's the fake suicide and then there's a real suicide attempt.
Right.
Of course it's played for laughs because the movie plays some offensive things for laughs. There's
Lots
some
of slurs.
racial slurs and
Yeah.
other types of slurs.
But you know, Jeremy, it was a different time.
Okay.
That's ironic. Please don't
You're gonna get canceled.
take
in
that out of
15 years.
context.
By the way, the comic's name was Sam Kinison, and there's definitely people who are
Okay,
gonna go,
okay.
"How do you not know him?"
I'm not familiar,
sorry.
you know?
We're really sorry. I
wow.
should get familiar. He seemed interesting from the
Yeah,
clips
yeah,
we saw. But yeah, like I don't. It just nothing about it seemed honest or revealing enough to me to go. This is like I feel like if a celebrity is gonna do something that's semi-autobiographical or like frames them in front and center and it's them telling their own story, you need to reveal facets of yourself that the audience might not have seen before.
Sure.
And this didn't seem like an artistic exercise in exploring
No,
like
of course
the
not.
sad clown.
It's like Shakes the Clown, which was very much that. This is just Pauly Shore goofing off with some money and celebrities that he knows.
Yeah, I look when movies like Honey Boy exist, which is a celebrity examining his own like tortured public image and state, like this doesn't really land for me.
Sure, and
personally.
an unsuccessful celebrity. A good movie for that is Joker. Jeremy recommends.
No, I do not like Joker, and Joker is gonna come up again in this podcast, and I know when and I know where, and I'm not happy about it, and I want to put that on the record right now.
Hi, this is Max. The next day, we didn't end up talking about it, but the song "Rock and Roll Part 2" by that jerk Gary Glitter is it's the Joker dance song when he's on the stairs in the Joker movie, and it's also in Happy Gilmore. Forgot to bring that up later, but that's what we were talking about. Okay, let's get back to it. Joker laugh.
That's enough on Pauly Shore.
Yeah, Pauly Shore, please don't watch this. It was
unless you love Pauly Shore, then definitely watch it.
or you really want to, get all that Adam Sandler content.
Yeah, it's 10 seconds, but if you need every frame of Adam Sandler or every wave
it's
file,
not. Yeah, this is just a wave file. He's not even there visually.
Yeah, I give it like a 3 out of 10 and a 2 out of 10 on the Sandler scale.
Same here, maybe 4 out of 10, 2 out of 10 on the Sandler scale.
Yeah, I mean, I think I was smart to veto it initially, and I'm sad it didn't go through.
I was down to not watch it today. You were the one who said
I did
let's
push it
do
today, but earlier in
Yeah.
the week you were the one who pushed it.
Yeah, so it was meant to happen then, clearly.
Clearly.
And it happened, and now we're here. So let's talk about Happy Gilmore, which is Adam Sandler, one of his first movies.
It was definitely his first big one.
First big studio movie, sure, because this was Universal Pictures.
Yeah, I really liked it. Especially, we watched this back-to-back with Pauly Shore's Dead. So we were coming off Pauly Shore's Dead when we watched this, and I was like, wow, this is so competent and good and entertaining.
And maybe made it a bit better. Yeah.
It was a good movie. I feel like we have less to say about good movies.
Yeah, no, absolutely.
It was really, like, I genuinely laughed several times. I enjoyed all the characters. I thought Adam had a clear arc. Every scene was relevant to the plot and or the characters, which is a rarity.
The majority of the jokes
movies.
were, like, funny, or at least you could go, okay, that's a funny joke, and I'm glad it's here.
It's not stupid. Like, it's not lowest common denominator, low-hanging fruit jokes. Yeah, no, it was good. I thought there was a really interesting dynamic where you open it and Sandler's like the zany over the top one, and then he enters the golf world and his influence makes this like top golf player super zany and over the top and angry, and he calms down and becomes more normal as the movie goes on.
You're right.
I thought that was a super interesting progression and dynamic. I really dug that a lot.
That is smart.
And I think putting Adam Sandler in the golf world and then having regular sports fans like invade this sport that is boring and typically high society. You and I grew up like a few kilometers away from a golf course.
Yeah, where the Canada Open happens in Oakville. Whatever, it's Glen Eden.
Glen Abbey.
Glen Abbey, sorry.
Glen Abbey Golf Course, not to dox ourselves. But like, God, I don't like golf.
No, it has such like this.
It seems so snooty.
It's like the elite sport, right?
Yeah.
Where everyone has to be serious and wear these stupid polo shirts and tuck their shirts and stuff.
Or you go there for a business meeting.
Yeah. No, there's always been an air of like arrogant, rich white men just golfing.
Exactly. And I think this movie taps into that perfectly.
Yeah.
It finds this idiosyncracy. Adam Sandler's perfect to like go in there and just mess stuff up.
Absolutely.
That element really worked. I think I commented while we were watching the movie. I said the relationship between him and what's her name, Julie Bowen, Claire from Modern Family.
Yeah.
She's good in it. That works.
I feel like this is the earliest thing I've ever seen her in too.
Yeah, it all like worked for me. There was nothing. Like, I'm not gonna go, oh, it's the greatest movie of all time, but
no, of course, it's just like a solid comedy film. Like, this is what you would go to the theater to, go see a movie to laugh at, and you would, maybe chuckle at it and then leave and be satisfied.
Definitely like quotable lines. I can see why it's persevered with some of the quotable lines that have.
Carl Weathers.
Fantastic. Oh, I love Carl Weathers. He elevates everything he's in. I'm not gonna lie. I don't think I've ever not enjoyed him in a role.
Of course not.
He's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, great work there. I think the villain, I don't know the actor's name, but Shooter McGavin.
Shooter McGavin.
Great.
Yeah, awesome villain.
Yeah, really memorable and really entertaining.
I just checked this up. I was curious who wrote this, the screenplay. Yeah. It was Tim Herlihy, who worked on Saturday Night Live and also wrote Grown Ups 2, Bedtime Stories, Mr. Deeds, Little Nicky, Pixels, The Ridiculous Six, and Hubie Halloween.
Oh, I wanted
And
to
it was
talk about-
also it was Adam Sandler and this guy. So those two wrote the screenplay for this.
for Happy Gilmore.
Yeah.
Dang.
This was Adam Sandler's writing.
It's
And
good.
and the guy who wrote Pixels
I know you hate Pixels.
and Hubie Halloween.
Bedtime Story's not bad though.
Bedtime I remember fondly.
But I was a kid.
Same here.
Yeah. Okay.
But
Interesting career. Interesting track record.
Yeah.
You'd think maybe the problem with them working together so much would be it gets stale. But the problem is we've seen a lot of those later ones, and I'm not really so familiar with this one. And it wasn't stale. It felt fresh and exciting.
No,
and
yeah.
good.
Maybe just over time they kind of
Got lazy.
not got lazy. Maybe just backed away from the tropes of writing,
Yeah.
which would just be I don't know less professional. Because this was like one of their first big studio deals, it seems. So they're really
Yeah, maybe
gonna...
there was more producers coming in and saying, "Well, we need a love interest.
Exactly,
We need a
exactly.
clear through line. Blah blah blah." Yeah, I mean that's totally possible.
They kept that love interest plot in every other film. So,
You're right. I shouldn't have said that. The love interest is a constant
Yeah.
of Adam Sandler cinema.
There's something I really like about old movies. Like this was on film, right? These old movies. This isn't a bit or anything.
Okay.
I was like, there's always something about them where it's like so calm. Do you know what I mean? Where there will always be like, feels like there's more silence
Yeah,
in older movies like this.
film just feels. It's funny because as a picture, it's more noisy, but it feels warmer and
Yeah.
I don't know what it is. I paused halfway through our back-to-back marathon to watch Donald Glover release the trailer for Atlanta season 3,
Oh yeah.
and that's on film. And
Yeah,
it just
yeah.
looked so good.
I think Donald Glover really likes film because the This Is America video is film too.
Yeah,
I love
I'm
that.
a
Film
fan
look
of film.
Yeah, expensive
it's really expensive.
for like we will never shoot on
No,
film.
we're never gonna get the chance.
But looks good. Keep it up.
Nolan,
Yeah.
bravo.
Does Nolan shoot on film?
Yeah, Nolan loves film.
Okay.
And Tarantino. They
Right,
love
right.
film.
Tarantino, I can tell. Nolan, I couldn't even tell him.
Interstellar was put out on 75 millimeter for a lot of its run. I wanted to go see it,
Oh wow. Okay.
and I didn't get the chance.
Aw.
But I have a reel of
Oh. Oh really?
one frame from the reel.
From Interstellar?
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Yeah. Anyways, good movie. We haven't been doing trivia and Google reviews so much recently.
Oh, you're right.
One because we're a little more constrained on time, but I don't know. I think we were hitting for a lot of Adam movies. I felt like we were hitting the same notes where it's like this actor pops up, this role is a repeated.
Yeah.
And we've started noticing them ourselves. So do you want to go over?
I can go over the stuff
because
because I feel like a lot of other Sandler films then pay tribute to this one that we just watched, Happy Gilmore.
By the way, Billy Madison was before Happy Gilmore.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. Huh. So I guess that might be the biggest first studio one they did. But Carl Weathers, his character pops up in Little Nicky, which we watched before we started doing this podcast. But Carl Weathers' character, he dies in this film, Happy Gilmore, and you see him in heaven in Little Nicky, which is fun. And then there's a homeless dude who ends up being Adam's caddy in this, who later appears in Jack and Jill. If any keen-eyed viewers know, there's an opening scene where Adam Sandler has a homeless man over for dinner, and Jill makes it awkward and that. So that was fun to see.
Also, did you mention Ben Stiller?
Oh yeah, right, yeah.
So
he does a great job.
This is really cool because our first movie we watched for this podcast for people who've been with us since the beginning is Hubie Halloween, and in Hubie Halloween, Ben Stiller reprises his role as an abusive male nurse.
Yeah.
And or an orderly or whatever. And in this movie, it's the origin of that character.
Right.
And it's Halloween right now when we're recording this.
Well, actually, no, it's not Halloween anymore.
It was Halloween when we were watching the movie.
It was Halloween an hour and 7 minutes ago.
And it was Hubie Halloween. His character reappeared. So I was like, man, the universe works in mysterious ways.
Mm-hmm.
And Max didn't understand what I was saying.
No, yeah.
I have some fun trivia. Just some stuff I like.
Ooh.
I'm gonna do random stuff.
Let's hear it.
Bob Barker studied Tang Soon Do karate for decades under Chuck Norris and his brother Aaron Norris.
Wow.
So he was, and he declined the role until he found out he gets to win the fight against Adam Sandler, and then he was like, "Yeah, I'll do it."
Oh my god!
So,
Wow.
I don't know if he had
That
a
sounds
lot
fake. But I believe it.
It's in IMDb trivia,
Yeah.
so it has to be real.
Of course.
It was the very first winner of the MTV Movie Award for Best Fight.
Oh, wow.
And speaking of writing, this film was rewritten by Judd Apatow, who went uncredited. So that might explain a little bit of the smoothness of the plot.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's a lot of trivia, but I think that's most of the interesting
Yeah, that's the
stuff.
big ones. Okay, let's good movie.
I liked it.
Yeah.
It's
Probably definitely one of the best Adam Sandler movies.
If you're looking for a fun
100%.
comedy, check it out. It's good.
Sure.
I'm sure you've seen it, honestly, because it's a good movie.
Yeah.
I'd seen
and
it
if
before.
you haven't seen it, what is wrong
Why
with
are you listening to this podcast if you haven't seen Happy Gilmore? Please delete our contact information and never listen again.
If I hear you listening to this one more time, I swear to God, I'll break down your door.
That's not an idle threat.
It is an idle threat. It's not an idle threat. It's a moving threat.
How much time we got left?
Yeah, we got a few minutes, I think. Maybe. Let's talk about Dune. We saw Dune.
We watched Dune. Bravo, Denis Villeneuve.
Denny, we really owe him.
We saw an ad before we went to go see the movie. It was on YouTube where it was like, I forget who said it, but one of the actors was like, Canada, Denis has done so much for you. Support him when he needs you or something.
Yeah, it was like you guys, Canadian. Denny has
Denis
always been there for
you.
Canada.
Yeah.
Now it's time to bring him back.
Yeah.
Because they were so worried because Blade Runner flopped. They were like, oh, we gotta really make the Canadians feel like they owe us this.
I mean, look, it's not like Dune's doing incredible gangbuster numbers.
No, it's just like a good enough amount of money.
It's good enough during a pandemic. It would be a massive flop.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah.
Okay.
But like most movies
Did better
would
than
be.
Sonic.
Yeah. I mean...
It's a big milestone.
Yeah.
In today's age.
I thought it was good.
Yeah, me too.
I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
Why
Are you
laughing
sure?
at me?
Be honest.
I can't be honest.
Why? I really liked it. You want my honest opinion? I thought it was really good. A lot of setup, of course, but that's for everyone who's very new to this world. As someone who read the book like 4 years ago and forgot most of it, it was entertaining enough. And you read it very recently.
I read the book over the summer, and I remember. So I found the movie a little forgettable. Like I was forgetting parts of it by the next day, but I was a little frustrated with the fact that the movie just kind of ends. I was a little let down by some of the world building because I didn't think it did enough explaining, and I knew what was going on. Like I knew what all the terms meant. Okay. But that's a very, very rich world. And I've picked up book 2 now since I just watched the movie. I've been wanting to like read it again. So I'm reading through the sequel. And like I'm like so much of this wasn't in the movie. And, like, you're expected to know it by the time the third book rolls around because it's important by this point.
Yeah.
Like, there's just...
Well, I figure they know that. I think they're just...
building it up slowly.
That's what I would imagine.
I think something like Lord of the Rings did a better job of world building in one movie.
But watching the first Lord of the Rings, you don't know everything.
You don't know...
There's reveals over time. So
you don't know about the human side of the world. Right. But, like, you get a pretty good sense of the elves and the dwarves and the hobbits.
But we got a good sense of their homeworld. Before they went to the Sand Planet, right?
But Caladan doesn't matter. Caladan doesn't matter to the overall plot.
Really.
Whereas, like,
it just sets up like where all the characters come from.
Yeah. Look, it was not a bad movie by any means. It was probably one of the better movies this year. I just, because the book is so fresh in my mind, I'm always going to be like, the book was better. But like...
Of course. If you read the book, you're always, everyone always says that.
And I also wanted it to be a little more weird and like fantastical, me personally.
Right. I do wish it was more psychedelic.
Yeah. Especially with the visions and stuff. Because the visions were just like Zendaya in a perfume commercial. They weren't like... They were trippy in the books.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. He was like elevating his consciousness.
But again, also, I think they were really trying to keep it safe with this one. Because Denis has lost studios lots of money making a really good movie, in my opinion. Really nice.
No, I like Blade Runner too. I like Blade Runner 2049 better than Blade Runner.
Yeah, of course. Like, I think it's a better movie, of course. I just love the practical effects and aesthetics of the first one. And then they did practical effects for the second one.
Did you hear what Ridley Scott said about Blade Runner 2049?
No, he hated it, right?
He didn't hate it, but he was like, yeah, I probably would have caught like 30 minutes out of it.
Yeah.
He's like, my cut's 30 minutes shorter.
No, I like that about Denis, He's always been there for us Canadians. But also he has those long shots where you just take in everything.
No, he lets you definitely live in a world. And I guess I just didn't feel like I was living on Arrakis as much as I felt it when I was reading the book. Oh, I don't know if I can come back from saying that.
No, it's in slate now. You're done for.
But like,
No, I agree with that. Sure.
I do want to go see it again because I feel like I didn't fully take it in.
Of course.
So I'll probably go see it again.
All right.
And we're probably gonna see Eternals soon too. So
Oh yeah.
that review's coming
Get
out.
ready.
Because we've been hearing some interesting things.
Oh yeah. A certain scene. But anyways,
I think that's
I'm pretty sure we're out of time.
okay. So we're gonna spin the wheel.
Yeah.
So we each have 2 vetoes. Remember that are unused.
That's not true.
Yeah.
We're keeping that?
Yeah. You don't want it. You want veto system gone.
I want veto
You're vetoing the vetoes. You're using one of your veto to veto the vetoes.
I'm sick of the vetoes.
All right, the vetoes.
I'm using both of my vetoes to take out your 2 vetoes.
Max used the vetoes.
And then I'm gonna head on down
vetoes.
to Vito's Pizza and Wings. And
All right, I'm rolling.
Nice
I'm spinning
combo.
this wheel.
Sorry.
We're losing the plot.
That was a
here.
sponsored deal.
We're very tired.
Let's go.
The wheel.
Oh, Hotel Transylvania full franchise.
Max manifested this week.
Oh my god!
He bought.
I kind of wish we had that today because it's Halloween.
He bought the the Dracula plushie from Cineplex.
Yeah.
So he this week he purchased that.
That was yesterday.
So you made this happen.
Oh my god!
But also,
you're
there's
right.
4 entries in this franchise on the wheel, so it was bound to come out sooner rather than later.
You're right.
Yeah. So Hotel Transylvania. Hotel Transylvania
1
3.
through 4.
Yeah, but 3 came up on the wheel.
Right.
But we're gonna watch the whole franchise. Do we have to watch 4? Because Adam's
Yeah.
not in it.
It's got Kevin James, and David Spade. I think.
Is
his
it
names.
available to us, or do we have to go to theaters?
It's not in theaters still. No,
Yeah.
that was like a year ago.
No, it's out now. That's why you
What?
got the plushie at Cineplex.
What?
It's out now.
Okay, maybe we should go to the theater for it then.
Let me see if we'll look into this after the show.
Yeah.
but,
Okay. But anyways.
yeah, next week's gonna be a big episode.
Yeah, that's a lot to talk about. So
Yeah,
we'll see
we're
you
not
then.
gonna have any time for trivia or anything. We're just gonna be running through these movies. But thank you so much for listening to this week's episode.
Yeah, really spectacular audience we have. Really appreciate you.
Okay, cool.
I don't know what else should we say.
I think Max needs to go to bed.
No,
We're at 27 minutes, so we did a good job.
I'm at 35.
Yeah, but you have all the other.
Yeah,
don't
but
have
that's
that.
part of the show though, and the intro, and
you
we're
can
cutting
cut
the
that.
intro and outro for sure.
Okay. Have a good week. We'll see you next week with Hotel Transylvania. Gross. All right. So, real quick addendum. We just found out that Hotel Transylvania 4 does not come out in theaters till January. So, we will not be watching it next week because it's physically impossible for us unless we break this time-space barrier.
Also, I don't think Kevin James is in it either.
Lame.